Why do I shed hair everywhere? Long time no see, you guys. Actually, that's not how I did my intro. It's technically supposed to be, hello, all you beautiful crafters. Welcome back to my channel. I don't remember what else I'm supposed to say. I haven't made a video for this channel in months. So let me just go ahead and say sorry for the hat. Listen, the camera is over here on this side. Look on this side, Stephanie. Hi, welcome back, all you beautiful crafters. What are you doing? So, in the title, or the, what am I trying to say? Thumbnail should be something about sublimation, 20-ounce cups, something about that, maybe. I'm filming this now and I haven't got to that point. See this? I'm about to go make me a cup of coffee. Hold on a minute. I need some coffee. It's making. But I don't know if you guys know this, but we moved. So we were staying in a trailer. We had a house fire a couple years ago and we bought this trailer and we lived in it, and then we bought our house. So we bought this house in August. We moved in about September, and then, you know, birthdays and holidays and getting wrapped up in moving and all this kind of stuff, and I kind of forgot about you guys. So just to go ahead and let you know, I craft in my kitchen, dining room, and I have a mess. It's a mess. But when you don't have room, if you're a crafter, you should know this. If you don't have room, you put it on top of something or on the floor. It's just what we do. Anyhow, I'm going to show you here in just a few minutes, and you may have actually seen, depending on where I put the clip at, the printing of the paper, of the sublimation design. I was trying really hard to keep the camera still, like I'm holding it, because I film on my phone. Anyhow, trying really hard to keep the camera still. So I got my arm propped up on the table, because we got a big table, okay? This table is huge, okay? And I'm a chunky girl. I got some weight. Got a belly, got a butt, got some thighs. I got an arm that waves hello. When I wave, see it jiggle? Anyhow, y'all don't want to see that. Anyhow, so got enough room between the counter, see it, ugly green counter, and table, that I could just barely squeeze them. Arm, counter, arm, table, and printer right there up against the wall. Okay? So again, this is like the third time I've said this. Arm, counter, arm, table, filming, get a beautiful shot of the paper printing. I mean, this is cinematic. And I start feeling my own pulse in my arms, and the camera's going dum 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 dum, and I'm trying really hard to keep it still. So if you see an emotion there, it's my heartbeat. Anyhow, I'm going to show you here in just a minute. We're going to be making some sublimation cups. I guess it's time to get a little serious. We're going to be making some sublimation cups. I just got a whole box, a whole case of sublimation cups in, and I need to take some up to my booth. And I just bought this drive. It's got some fairly decent stuff in there. Some of it's kind of like, you know what I mean? But then there's like some bangers in there. So I've printed off a couple of them, and we're gonna see how it goes and make some sublimation cups, and I'm gonna show you how I do these. And I would say 98 to 99% effective every single time these tumblers come out. 98 to 99% of the time these tumblers come out perfect. That 1 to 2% you might get a little bit of ghosting up at the top, but 98 to 99% of the time, perfection for me. Now, you're going to watch sublimation videos on how to do these cups, and everybody's going to tell you how to do something different. So I'm not here to tell you that my way is right. I'm here to show you how I do it. That way you have as many options as possible if and when you decide to start sublimating as well. Or maybe you're already doing sublimation and maybe it's just not working for you and you're ready to try something new. So you've come to see me and I'm going to show you what I do. Maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't. Some things work for some people, some things don't. So let's get into this video. But right now, pretty sure my coffee's done. So that's where I'm going. I'll show you what I got going on here in just a minute. That's kind of weird that you guys would watch somebody have like a coffee orgasm face. Weirdos. I'm gonna flip it this way. Get your finger out of the way, Stephanie. All right. Have you guys ever watched like the cleaning videos or the cleaning TikToks? Clean and decorate with me, all that kind of good stuff. This is my tablescape. It's beautiful, ain't it? Decorating for sublimation. Booyah. These are so flippin' pretty. I had to have them, okay? And I actually already have one. And I'm going to show you what I do. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Maybe not. I don't know. But... so this is a Starbucks and it's really pretty. It's kind of like these colors, but like this sparkly iridescent look. And I don't typically like the fake glitter look, but I don't think these look terribly bad. You feel me? Look how pretty this is. So this one, don't worry about the cards. We was playing rummy. But this one is kind of like this iridescent background color right here. This one I've been seeing everywhere, and when I bought this Google Drive, it was in there with a whole bunch of other colors, so I got a whole bunch of other colors I'm gonna do too. Not today. And then this one, and then this one. So, I mean, honestly, that's a lot of, like, mamas. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them. But, I mean, our target demographic is usually women. Mamas, okay? Mom buns, mama's got this, mama bear, mamas, okay? So, I'm selling to a target demographic, and that's what I am printing off, and that's what I'm doing today. And then Starbucks, because technically I'm a Dunkin' Donuts fan, but I like Starbucks lemonades and their dragon fruit refreshers. Coffee, but it's pretty. I'm doing it anyways. I don't think Dunkin' Donuts would look as pretty on those, so we're doing Starbucks. All right, so I'm going to go grab some more tumblers. And I'm going to get over here, going to find my scissors, and we're going to get into this, and I'm going to do my very best to explain to you without talking your head off anymore how I make these tumblers. Okay? Hang tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even know if I said that right, but, you know, it sounded good in my head. All right, to get started, where am I supposed to be looking? There? Yeah, there. All right, to get started, first things first, clean hands, okay? And the reason why you want clean hands is, one, you're gonna be touching this. At some point or another, you're gonna be touching this, and you want the least amount of dirt, fuzz, oils, whatever, to transfer from your hands onto this. I don't know if you can see. I really should not be sitting like right here with the light right there. but of course camera's not gonna pick it up. Where's it at? Right there. There's dirt or fuzz or something right there. I promise you, you may not be able to see it, but I can see it. I know it's there. Take my word for it. Anyhow, so you're gonna want clean hands, okay? Because I have not made a YouTube video for this channel in several months, I can't tell you how many videos back currently, without going and looking for it and stopping the video and then coming back. I can't tell you how far back I did a test of papers, sublimation papers, and sublimation inks and ink setting. No, it wasn't sublimation inks. I've only used like 1 or 2 brands. Sublimation ink settings for your printer. I use a 2720. Is that what it is? Pretty sure that's what it is. It's an eco tank, and I absolutely love it. If I was going to recommend any kind of printer, it would definitely be an eco tank because it's easy to fill, easy to use, easy to clean, easy to set up. It's just easy all the way around. So I use Silhouette Studio to print all of my prints. No particular reason as to why I use Silhouette Studio, but I guess when I was doing my Cricut and I was making epoxy tumblers, Silhouette Studio allowed me to print bigger than Cricut did because I couldn't figure out how to print anywhere else. So when I moved over to Sublimation, I just kept using the Silhouette. I used the Silhouette to do water slides. So I just moved it over to Sublimation. It's worked out great for me. So when I do these, all of these that I printed off were already pre-sized. They were like 8 by 2. Now I actually moved them up a little bit bigger so that they filled pretty much the width of my page. So it's like an 8 by 3 by an 8 by 4, something like that. And there's a reason that I do that, because I want my image longer than my cup. Because I do this. But I'll show you that in just a minute. But I do make mine bigger, and if you can see just a little bit, you can see some of the color in there. It'll be explained here in just a minute as to why I do this, okay? Now typically, I do like the 8.3, 8.4, somewhere around in there. And then I do like 9.5. I typically like to do my image a little bit of an overlay. And this will be explained as well, but these were already at 9.3, and this one that I did right here, I did it at 9.3, and it seems to be just fine. So we're gonna roll with it, because it's still the same method. It's just a little bit shorter. So if you see this, it still worked. So I showed it to you, okay? And if you don't see this, you're not gonna know the difference. Anyhow, so not only do you need your image printed on sublimation paper using sublimation ink at a width and height, I say 8.3, 8.4, fills up pretty much the paper, but not quite. Because Silhouette Studio has a print border, okay? So print border on the top, print border on the bottom. And then this is 11.5. This is 8.5 by, is it 8.5 by 11, or I think it's 8.5 by 11. Wow. Anyhow. This is at 9.3, and it leaves a little bit of an overlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to cut off this top border on all of these and this huge chunk. I'm going to leave this side border, and I'm going to leave this bottom border, because this bottom border does not affect me at all, okay? And I want this little bit of overage right here. Typically I leave the overage over here, but I'm going to cut this off. Okay, ready, set, go. I'm gonna speed this up and like make it super quick. you might want to see what I'm doing. So, boom. Can you see me? Hello. I'm going to work it up already. Oh, y'all watching me, making me nervous already. You know what I need? I actually have one. I just don't know where it is. I don't know what they're called, okay? But I know what they do, okay? One. One, you put it in there and you line it up and you have the little zipper and it goes zoop and it cuts it off. I have one of those, but it's not up here. It is down there at, you know, the trailer. Because I'm not living there anymore and I don't have craft space, so I don't have anywhere to put it. So it's down there. Or like one of the machetes. Put it up there and it goes all through a whole bunch of them. That's what I need. But knowing my children or, you know, even myself, I'd probably cut off a finger with that. So don't leave dangerous tools around Stephanie. Okay, she's a hazard to herself and others. I'm clumsy. I tripped going up the stairs. Today, I tripped going up the stairs. All right, top and that side, bottom is left white. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you both ways that I do this, okay? You get in two options now because I tried to switch it up and be all cool and whatnot. You can do it like this too. Which side am I cutting off? Okay, I'm cutting off the big side. You can do it. Okay, see, I did this one. This one's smaller. This is the 9.3, so there's a little bit of overage over here with the white, and the bottom is still white. The top I cut off and the bottom I cut off. So if you mess up, either way, both ways are gonna work. However, both ways that I'm gonna show you are going to work, I promise. Okay, because I typically wrap my tumblers with all this extra white, and a lot of people who've been doing this for a while might be watching this and being like, oh my God, it's gonna ghost right there. No, see, we got tricks for that. If you've been doing it long enough, you know we got tricks for that, okay? So, listen, haven't decided if I'm gonna speed this up and let you just watch me cut everything, but y'all are making me nervous watching over my shoulder like that, judging me. Probably nobody's watching this, okay? So, I mean, honestly, if nobody's watching this, what am I even worried about? Well, bam, done, okay? Did you like the look on my face? The intent, like the 2-year-old. Cut a straight line. Can I cut a straight line? One of them looks pregnant. Be responsible and throw away my mess. Anyhow, so I was thinking while I was cutting, like, these people are going to be like, why are you not using a bigger pair of scissors? Use some big craft scissors. Don't use these itty bitty little things. But, however, the way that I do my tumblers, I need smaller scissors. Smaller, the better. Those are going to be just fine, but I also use these. These, I'm fairly certain, come in like something for your eyebrows, or, you know, trimming your beard or mustache, or I don't know, there's some kind of manicure or grooming, you know what I mean, getting them tight spots, but that's what makes them so good. And I really don't want to bring 3, 4, 5 pairs of scissors to the table. So if I can make do with the semi, medium, small, that's what I'm going to do. So for him, the bell tolls. Get your pretty sublimation tumbler. And the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and slap that on here. Don't do that, okay? Because even though, and listen, this is not the professional way to do it, but even though you can't see any dust, there's probably dust on here. So I usually take my shirt, probably cause more lint, and I wipe it off just a little bit. It may not get all the dust off, but sometimes there's some static cling that goes on, and sometimes little pieces of like the cellophane, plastic wrap, whatever it is, the little plastic sleeves. Sometimes it gets stuck on there. Sometimes there's bigger pieces of dust or pieces of dirt or whatever. Now people say use alcohol, clean it off. I've never had to do that. I'm not going to start now. I'm not going to change up what works for me. I just take my shirt and wipe it off and it works just fine. Okay? So, now I'm going to take it. There's the mouth part. There's the bottom. And I'm going to put this side flat down on the table. Just like that. Got my tape on my crappy tape dispenser. It's horrible. Hate it. Not tagging it in the description box. This one does not have the white chunk right here like this one has, but they're probably going to be pretty much wrapped the same way. So I'm going to put my wrap around the cup, and the paper is going to rest on the table, okay? On the table. And this part of my paper has the white strip still. So wrapping it around, trying to keep it as tight as possible. I'm going to lay the side without the strip down first and the white strip over top of it. Checking to see that the paper is not any further down the cup. There should be little to no, and when I mean little, I mean like hairline. There should be little to no overhang of that paper on the mouth of the cup. So, first piece of tape goes directly in the middle. Doesn't have to be a very big piece of tape. Hook it right there, and I hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to push with my fingers all the way around just to make sure that it is as tight around that cup as possible, and I'm going to lay that down. One piece of tape. One piece of tape. All right, so I usually do 1, 2, possibly 3, 1, 2 right here. So roughly 5 more pieces of tape. You can do 6 if you'd like. I'm going to lay it on the seam on the piece of paper that overlapping the other piece of paper, but I am not going to push that down yet. It's sticking to my fingers. Alright, this piece right here. Alright, you should have some little floppers right there. So what I do, still holding on a firm grip onto the piece of paper, I'm going to hold down with my thumb that piece of tape. Not necessarily holding the paper to the cup, right? Holding the tape to the paper. and I'm going to stretch this piece of tape and pull that piece, that seam right there as tight as I can with using the tape as leverage. So stretching, and you might see a few little bubbles right there. Don't worry about that yet. We're just laying down tape. All right, this is what you have. And you see those bubbles? We're gonna fix those too. Okay? Still should have very minimal to no lip up here. Now, holding my cup, either this way or this way, doesn't really matter either way. I'm gonna take one piece of tape and I'm gonna run it along this seam, and I'm going to lay it on the side of the paper that is overlapping, again, just like we did with the previous pieces of tape. And I'm not gonna stick it fish crap. I'm not gonna stick it down. Do you see the gap right there? Because this is where I'm gonna come in with my thumb. See the flap? It's not laid down. This is where I'm gonna come in with my thumb, and I'm going to push that tape and those bubbles down. Not this way, but this way, so that they lay flat. Can you see? Tape's lifted up here. There's still bubbles. None here so far. That is not a bubble. That is just a wrinkle in the tape. All right, taking this, pushing it over. All right, that's all we need to do right there. We're good. So now we're coming up to the bottom. And this is where little scissors come in handy, okay? I'm gonna try my very best to show you this. Keep it in camera. So, I'm going to take and I'm going to make slits in the bottom of the paper. I'm not going to go any further than the bottom of the cup. I'm not going to go up to the rounded edge of the cup. We're not going to fold this over. We're going to make little slits, and I like to do them diagonally, rotating the cup. And I like for them to be fairly small and close together. I do not want my scissors, the point of my scissors, going any further than the bottom of the cup. Because then you're going to have bubbles and ghosting and all that kind of good stuff. So just to the bottom of the cup. Not to the bevel, but to the bottom. Did y'all see that? Do you see all those right there? Now the wonderful thing about this, especially because if you can see, it's been printed a little bit larger, is I like to take my hand, wrap it around there, like I know what I'm doing with it. And I like to run my fingers in a cup motion, and all these slits will start to lay down around the bottom edge of the cup. This is not my brilliant idea. I actually got this, and if somebody else does this, maybe they got it from her too, but I actually got it, this idea, from another sublimation cup maker, artist. Yeah. So, we're going to, in the direction, not against, because if you go against, you're going to pop them up. So you're going to go in the direction that they want, that the angle is going. And they're going to lay down just a little bit, but they're not going to lay down flat. Okay? And we're going to leave it like that. There's two of them. See? Two of them. So, our next one is going to be this with the big white extra. Still usable. we're gonna do the exact same thing. Gonna clean off our cup, either with alcohol or the bottom of our shirt, like our shirt house. Don't spit on it, not a good idea. We're just trying to get dust, oil, little pieces of plastic, attitude. And we're going to sit it mouth side down on the table. And we're going to wrap it, same as what we did a minute ago. Making sure that it is flat on the table, evened up. And we're going to roll the side that we cut off underneath. You know, it might help if I got it in camera. We're gonna roll the side that we cut off. See, no white spot on that side, white spot on this side, underneath the white. Pulling it tight, like that. We're gonna check our rims just to make sure everything is in there. Adjust if we need to adjust. Now, because you have all this extra piece of paper, right, you are gonna have to go around the cup. If you can see, there's a little bit of a gap. And we're going to push against the cup and push that paper. See it making a little bubble right there? Gonna push it all the way around until it gets over here to the white spot and tighten it up. No more bevel. Okay? Gonna do that all the way around the cup, keeping a big grip. Big, strong grip. I know y'all have held something big in your hand before. Some of you, maybe. Not all of you. I'm talking about the big mugs from the gas station. Don't be perverted. Big cups of coffee or something. Jeez. Why you gotta let your mind go there? As tight as possible around that cup. Feels pretty tight to me. We're gonna tape the very middle of it. And this one, again, we are taping down. We're in frame, Stephanie. We're taping it and pulling it. There we go. See my little flappers? We are going to, again, hold and tighten those pieces of tape. Should they pull those pieces of paper and that seam as close as possible. In frame, Stephanie. There we go. You see it's got little bubbles in there. We're gonna fix that too. Taping on the side that is overlapping the other. Can you see it real close? And pushing that seam down. Yep. All right, so on this one, because you have that big white piece of overlap, I don't know if you can see it right there. That is where the seam is. That is where the white overlay is. And we are going to take our thumb, our nails, and we're going to press that seam. Can you see? See it? And now we're good. You can, if you would like, on this or on any of them, take your finger and run it along this seam right here. Not necessary, but you can do it. Okay? And with your miniature scissors, we're gonna go in again. I like to go in from the bottom, not from the top, because if you start from the top and you start making, and then you go to the bottom, right, they're gonna be in opposite directions. So pick top or pick bottom. I like to pick bottom because I can see where my scissors meet the rim and not go any deeper than that. So if I can, I'm gonna get real close to the camera and probably not be in frame. If you cut through the tape that's right there, it's just fine. Just keep going. Like Dory says, just keep swimming, but we're just gonna keep crafting. Just keep going, you can do it. All right, see the tape right there that I folded over? Can you see that? Probably not. There it is, it's just fine. It doesn't need to be taped to the bottom of the cup unless you just seriously want to. Take your hand, again, with the direction, we're going to rotate the cup in our hands and bend some of these over just a little bit. Yeah, buddy. All right. I have 4 more to do. So I'm gonna get to it. Now, let's suppose that when you get everything even, you have a little bit of a lip up here at the top. These micro tiny pieces of scissors come in handy because if you use big craft scissors, it's gonna bust the paper. Let me show you. Not that I'm gonna bust the paper, just how these craft scissors work. You're only gonna cut right up to the rim. Your scissors are gonna lay flush with the rim and you're gonna cut and rotate. If you use big craft scissors, maybe somebody who's better with scissors might be able to do it a little bit better, but for me, I get these weird cracks and bubbles and it messes everything up. I recommend the little scissors. Flat up against the mouth of the rim. Mouth of the rim. Is that even what I was supposed to have been saying? Is that the right word or the right phrase? All right, see that? There it is. All right, to the bottom. This will work on the teeniest amount. You can see that it is uneven because this design had a lot of white, and like, so when you go to cut something white, it's kind of like, where'd the line go? Kind of like, whoop. Anyhow, same thing. Cut it at an angle. Just to the bottom of the cup. Bada bing, bada boom. There's another one. So we have 4 done. I have 3 to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap these up and get these done. Drink some more of my coffee. And we'll be back here in just a minute so I can show you the oven that I used, the temperature setting, how I'm going to put the, it's not cling wrap, what is it? Shrink wrap. There you go. Shrink wrap on my cups because you do not need a heat gun. Don't need one. How long I cook them for, and I might even do like a sped up of showing you me actually baking one of these, but you will be able to see the final results, possibly even on all of them. So hang tight for just a second. I mean, like, well, for me it's going to be a few minutes, but for you it's going to be like, alrighty then. So we have all of our tumblers here and ready to go in the oven. Alright, so I'm going to take you over here to my oven, and I'm going to say this, okay? 1, the convection oven that I use, yes, it's in my kitchen, it's on my kitchen counter. It is not used for anything else other than making my cups. My kids, we have an extra convection oven, but my kids prefer to use the air fryer. So nobody else uses the convection oven but me, specifically for cups, and you can see it's specifically for cups. So we're going to go over here real quick. You may see some stuff. You may want to judge. Just try not to. I'm going to show you what I set it on. We are going to heat up. We're going to preheat the convection oven for 25 minutes. I can tell you all that in here. Hold on. Convection oven with flour on it. I'll wash it later. And then you can see all this. That is actually the shrink wrap that got melted to it, but it's just fine. This is not meant for cooking. It is not meant for cooking whatsoever. It is meant for cups, and that is it. Okay, so over here off to the side, what brand is this? Oh, this is an Oster. See it? It's an Oster, and it has flour all over it. Your temperature, your function, and your time. Okay, so my temperature, you see that? It's going to be in between the 350 and the 400. There's an itty bitty little dot. That is actually meant to be there. That is not a speck of dirt. It is meant to be there. That is 375. So we're going to set it at 375. We're going to make sure the function is set all the way over here to turbo with the little fan. And then I like to preheat my convection oven for 25 minutes. I might even be nice while we wait for this to warm up and might even wash it off. Or I might just go sit my butt on the couch and think about how nice it would be to curl up in my bed and go to sleep, because it is like 11 o'clock at night. So you may or may not get a clean convection oven when I return. But 25 minutes from now, I will come back. A millisecond from now, I'll be back. For you, not for me. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I'll be right back. Alright, so my chatty self is back, and I did not clean this off. I just sat down and watched YouTube moms clean their house, because, you know, they're like my heroes. I look up to them. I don't know. But anyhow, you can see that we're counting down. It's almost done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this up. Doesn't really matter to where. We're just going to turn it up, keep it going. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start putting the shrink wraps around the cups. Then I'm going to show you what we're going to do. You know what? It's always me. I just noticed that the red light wasn't on. This whole time I've been waiting on this to heat up and it's not even plugged in. Let's try this again. Light's on this time. We're gonna try this again. But you know what? Just to get something done, we're still gonna go over here and put the shrink wrap on the cups. It's gonna take like 30 seconds tops. So let's go get this done real quick. So I'm gonna real quick say this, okay? So put your shrink wrap on however you want to put your shrink wrap on. I stick my arm up through and then slide the cup over my hand and then pull the cup with my hand through the other end. Sometimes it works like a charm. Sometimes, as you just saw, I might struggle just a little bit, but it works well for me. But just wanted to say that in the end too. The other thing that I like to do is when I get ready to shrink this, which I will show you how I do that without the heat gun. When I get ready to shrink this, I like to be able to see where the tape is. So on certain shrink wrap, you might see the serrated, is that the right? The dotted lines where you would tear the shrink wrap. Line it up with that, line up your tape with a seam, something like that, so that you know where the tape is. It will come in handy shortly. So you can go ahead and get those lined up however you want to. Just a recommendation, it's not necessarily have to. Again, I will show you how I shrink wrap these, and I will explain to you why I like the tape lined up a certain way, just to be able to see. It doesn't necessarily have to be on that edge, just has to be in a direction where I will be able to see it and I will know which side is which. So we're gonna wait for that to heat up again, and then we'll be back. So the convection oven has been preheating again. We're grabbing one of these. I don't know which one it is. I have you on a tripod. I'm going to try to maneuver around some chairs back into the kitchen. My dirty living room. Bypass all the other mess that's in here. See, we made bread and cookies today. All right. Ignore my mess. So we have our design on our cup taped down. Maybe, I'm sorry if you hear the dryer. I just now realized that it was on, but my daughter needs a blanket because she's asleep with no blanket. She fell asleep super early. She literally put all her blankets and sheets and everything into the washer and then fell asleep, so she needs a blanket. I just realized she had none. So sorry, I'm not turning off the dryer and it might be a little bit loud. Back to our regularly, whatever I'm trying to say, scheduled program. If you can see, there's the tape. It's lined up with the seam, the dotted lines right here, the tear here. I'm going to evenly, or try as evenly as possible, to place this cup in the middle of the shrink wrap. Okay, I'm going to open up the oven, stick one end in, and let the heat from the oven shrink it down. Just like that. Wonderfully. Alright, so the next step, I'm going to pop this in the oven. Now my stove is right here. See that sign? And the air fryer right next to it is the stove. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes. And in the process of finding or letting this 3 minutes go, and you're watching this, I'm going to find an oven mitt, because in 3 minutes I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do another 3 minutes. Now, here's the thing. Where I can see the tape, the taped side is going to go up. And that is right here. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because as I stick it in here, let me set my timer. Timer set for 3 minutes, counting down, because when I come back over here to flip it over, I want to flip it over and I want to try to keep it as even as possible. And the tape side up is going to flip over and be the tape side down. So that should allow me to evenly rotate this cup. I hope that makes sense. So for now, you're gonna hang out right here and I guess watch this cup cook for 3 minutes. But I'll speed it up. And as you can see, the light's still on, so it's still cooking and it's quite warm. I can actually feel the heat now. So it worked this time. So the timer is counting down. You're fixing to hear it beep. I just wanted to go ahead and say also the tape side up. There's my timer. I'm going to go ahead and flip this. The taped side up also means that if for any reason within that 3 minutes I get preoccupied with something else and I come back and I cannot remember if I've already flipped it, if this is the first go around, or if I need to do another 3 minutes, and tape side up starting allows me to know that it needs to be flipped. I'm going to set it for another 3 minutes. All right, we're counting down. There it is. There's the beat. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to pull this out. Oh, didn't turn off. There we go. I'm going to pull this out. That wasn't supposed to happen. Get this off of y'all. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. Yeah, I love it. It's a little bit of that plastic up there. Ooh, it's hot. Look at it. It's so stinking pretty. And look, there's my seam. Do you see that? Can you see that seam? Can you see the seam? Can you see it? Look how stinking pretty that is. All right, so now that I'm done gushing over this, we're gonna throw away our mess. If my sink was cleaned out, because I just did dishes, but heaven forbid any mother do dishes, and anything stay clean in the house for more than 5 seconds. But if my sink was cleaned out, I would show you that I typically take this over and run it under some cold water. It's not glass, so it's not gonna break. It's not going to smear any kind of ink. It's actually going to cool and set everything in quite nicely. So that would be my recommendation, is to take it and dip it in some water or run it under some cold water, cool it off real quick, and you can handle it quite quickly, if that makes sense. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back over to the table and I'm going to cook the rest of them and slowly show you reveal to you the rest of the cups and how nicely they come out. Okay. So my phone is about to die, which means I need to go and put it on charge, but I figured I'd at least show you one more that I take this stuff off of, then I'll cook the rest of them, and hopefully by the time I get done cooking the rest of them and taking this stuff off and cooling them off, they'll be ready to show you, and I'll just finish up this video, and then pull it off, get it off, don't play with it, no use in playing with it. Now look, this is one that had the extra white right there, and I will show you the seam on it too. It's hot. I haven't run it under water. It's hot. Now listen, if by the time, ooh, it's like static clean. If by the time you get everything off, you don't get that little top layer off, it's just fine. When it dries, it will peel off, no problem. Right now it's got static cleaning and it's sticking to me, but Look right there, right there, and right there. It's off just a smidge, but that is the seam. Can't even hardly tell. Where's it at? Okay, this is a fake nail, so it's not gonna hurt me as long as I don't. But right there, can you see it? And right there, you can see that little lip right there, just a little bit off, but that is it. Look at that. It's so pretty. So I'm just gonna let it sit right here and cool. Throw away my mess, go charge my phone, and I'll be back and I'll show you what all of them look like. Excuse me. Completely cooked. Completely done. I'll show you the bottom of them and why we did the little slits, all that kind of good stuff. We'll cover that just as soon as everything's done. Shut up, Stephanie. Go on. All right, we are back, and you may notice that some of these are slightly wet because I rinsed them off in the sink. You can see the little water droplets. I rinsed them off so they wouldn't be so hot and I could handle all of them. So now, I'm just checking. Some of these still have a little bit of residue, like the shrink wrap. Got a little stuck to them around the top, and look, it just peels off. It's kind of quite satisfying. You can just feel with your finger if there's any residue, and if there is, just take your finger, lift it up, peel it off. There it goes. Quick and easy. Check the bottom. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You're not gonna hurt it. You can use an X-Acto knife if you'd rather. And it's just like if you've ever done epoxy tumblers, it's just like cleaning up the rim for an epoxy tumbler, but you're just doing it with the leftover or possible leftover shrink wrap. Good, good. I'll double check them later, but if you remember any of them, can you find the seam? Can you see the seam? Can you see that? Just barely. Right there is the seam. Look how pretty. Right there along that line is the seam. Now, I'm gonna show you the bottom, and this is why we do the little slits on the bottom, because it folds it over the bottom. Let's see if I've got one that's got a little bit more on the bottom. Maybe you can see it a little better. Kind of see that one a little better. And you get a little bit of the jagged edge right there, but I would rather have that on the bottom than I would like around my cup. There's no ghosting at all whatsoever around the edge there. Look at that rim, just, it looks so pretty. Now this right here was just, this right here was just because I cut it a little too low in that area, but it's not that big of a deal. Seam again. Can you see the seam? Just barely right there. No ghosting there either. So, you got to see that one? Did you get to see that one? No, you got to see this one. You got to see this one. So I'm gonna show you this one. This one I'm in love with. Look how beautiful this fork and cup is. I want to keep it for myself. I'm kind of like really want to keep this one too. I kind of just want to keep them all. But yeah, Look at it. Can you find the seam on this one? Can you find the seam? Can you find the seam? Can you tell which ones had the extra white gap, like 2-inch gap, and which ones didn't? It's beautiful. It's magnificent. And this one. Can you find the seam? There it is. Just barely tell, but there it is. Pretty sure I already showed you this one, but I mean, it's gorgeous. And then I think this is the first one that we did, and I did it like on camera to begin with, but again, there's the seam, barely tell, barely tell. Beautiful. I'm forking in love with it. And so you can see the bottoms, how they rounded over. Not hiding anything. Do you want to see the tops of them? I thought that was bare metal. That's actually a leaf. Look. No burning. No ghosting along the seams. They are. I gotta get way down here because I don't know why it's so low over here. Maybe coming over this way. Maybe moving the tripod a little this way. Does that help a little bit? That helps me a little bit. 7 cups. 7 cups. 100% perfection on every one of them. I'm calling it 100% perfection. You don't have to, but I'm calling it 100% perfection because they're freaking gorgeous. And I want to keep them all. Anyhow, if you have any questions, comments, I don't care, whatever it is, leave them down in the comments. I will leave as much as I possibly can in the description. Yeah, that's it. That's the end. That's all there is. There isn't any more. Until next time. Oh, hey, that's a good idea. If you're still watching this, you haven't turned it off yet, leave me in the comments what you want to see next. I can continue. See, here's the bad thing about sublimation cups is that it's just print, wrap, and tape, right? So with epoxy cups, you can watch different techniques, but there's not a whole lot of different techniques when it comes to sublimation cups. So I can continue to make more sublimation cups and just hang out and chat and act crazy and delirious because it's 12:30 in the morning and I don't know whether I'm just like cuckoo in the brain or sleep deprived and a little delirious. But I mean, I can continue to do this. Depending on what the craft is, if it's something that's in my forte, I'm not like a knitter or a crocheter or anything like that, but if it's in my forte, I'm more than happy to try to help teach you something that I know about it. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments so that I can continue to make some videos for you guys if you enjoy this. I am so flipping glad that you hung out with me today, and I hope that you've learned something. So until next time, bye y'all.